Yugi Bros!
What's up, guys? Yugi Bros here. Super excited to tell you and unveil the fact that they have indeed added Speed Duel constructed tournaments to the North American WCQ. You know, in addition to the sealed pack tournaments and the starter deck tournaments. But hey, I'll take anything at this point. This is great news. Super excited for this. Shout out to Jeremy for notifying me of that first, and my friend Joey for bringing it up about a half hour afterward. Super excited to see this. Apparently they're all going to be 8-player flights, both the constructed, sealed, and starter deck ones. I thought it was going to be 16, but it looks like it has 8 players instead, so you have to go 3-0 to come in first place in these things. But to basically just check out the specs real quick. Speed Duel constructed tournaments, 8-player flight. Speed Duel constructed format, single elimination, ongoing. Thank God. Not that it wouldn't be, but you get 4 Speed Duel packs on entry. First place wins a Speed Duel game mat, score pad, and 2 Speed Duel tournament packs. Second place wins 2 Speed Duel tournament packs. I like that. It's actually really cool. So first and second get the same amount of packs, which is nice. So you know if you come in first or second, that's all you have to do. You basically just have to get to the finals, and you're guaranteed your packs. But if you come in first, you get the mat and score pad as well. The Speed Duel sealed tournament is 8 players as well. Speed Duel sealed format, single elimination, ongoing. You get 10 Speed Duel booster packs, but that's because you're building your deck off the packs, so it makes more sense for entry to be a lot bigger than that. And first place and second place get the same prize support as the constructed, where you get your game mat, your score pad, and 2 packs, Speed Duel tournament packs, and second place just gets 2 Speed Duel tournament packs. The Speed Duel starter deck tournament is the same format as sealed, 8 players ongoing. You get 1 Speed Duel starter deck, because that's the deck you're playing essentially, or the deck of the decks you're playing, and first place wins a Speed Duel coin. Essentially, if anyone's ever played Duel Links, it's the coin that they have in Duel Links, but in real life, which is cool. Definitely fun to flip with Time Wizard, especially if you're playing It's My Lucky Day. But anyways, moving on. Just figured I'd make a note of the participation points that go into the Speed Duel starter deck tournament. According to this, you get 2, and additional points for winning is also 2. I assume this will also carry over for the other speed tournaments as well, but as of right now, it just says it's for the starter deck tournament. On the note of the starter deck tournament, these are the rules for said tournament. Each duelist will be seeded for the tournament and receive one of the 2 new Speed Duel starter decks. Each starter deck contains 3 different hero decks. The duelist will then play best 2 of 3 game matches using the Speed Duel rules. A how-to guide is included in each starter deck. After each game, the duelist will switch the hero deck they are using so that the match, if it goes to game 3, they will have used all 3 hero decks. So basically, you go into game 1 playing one deck, you go into game 2 playing a different deck, you can go into game 3, if it goes to game 3, using the third deck. So that you basically use all 3 decks out of your one starter deck, because if anyone remembers, the starter deck that MSRPs for $10 has 3 mini hero decks in it, all about 20-some cards each, depending on extra deck and stuff. So I like that. I think that's really cool. And the rules are as follows. Each duelist begins the game with 4,000 life points. Each duelist begins the game with 4 cards as their starting hand. The main deck size is 20 to 30 cards. The extra deck may have a maximum of 5. Each duelist has 1 skill card. Skill cards effects do not start the chain. Each duelist has 3 main zones. 3 main monster zones, 3 spell and trap zones, and 1 field zone. The duelist going first does not draw a card on their opening turn. The hand size limit is 6 cards. Each duelist may have an active field spell, and each duelist may have a maximum of 3 copies of any card with the same name in both the main and the extra deck. So I like these rules a lot. I'm super interested to see how playing 3 different decks in the same match goes. And what's crazy is that as far as I know, you're handed one of the 2 randomly. I don't think you get to choose, so you don't even know which of the 3. It's like, if you wanted to go into this, I would practice with all 6 ahead of time, perfectly constructed how they're started, and like test with your friends and see how to minimize and maximize all the potential each deck has. Learn all the ins and outs, basically, going into one of these things. to try and ultimately win that Speed Duel coin. But anyways, next up we have the sealed tournaments. In a Speed Duel sealed pack event, duelists will be seated by a judge, and all duelists will receive 10 Speed Duel booster packs. Duelists will then be given time to open these packs and build a Speed Duel deck using the cards opened from the packs provided. A skill card will be provided if none are opened. So I think this is similar to how they did it at the Yu-Gi-Oh! Day thing, where if you didn't get a skill, they would print out a copy of, I think it was Straight to the Grave. It was on paper. Every OTS store had the ability to print one of those out and hand those out if the player wanted to, but you don't need to use a skill card, and I will explain why in a second. If you don't pull any, you don't have to use the one provided, even though they'll probably provide it to you anyway. But what I do want to know is if they do provide it to you, I assume you can opt just not to use it, because otherwise it would take a space up in your side deck and or main deck. I don't know. But here are the rules. So each duelist begins the game with 4,000 life points. Each duelist begins the game with 4 cards as their starting hand. Skill card effects do not use the chain. Each duelist has 3 main monster zones, 3 spell and trap zones, and 1 field zone. The duelist going first does not draw a card on their opening turn. The hand limit size is 6 cards. Each duelist may have an active field spell. Basically the same rules as the first one. Minimum deck size is 20 cards. However, in this, there is no maximum size. You can use whatever you want out of whatever you pulled. So if you go above 30, you can in fact go above 30, and there will be no penalty for that. There is also no restriction on the number of any specific card in a deck. So if you have 3 or more copies of a card with the same name, as long as they were obtained through the packs that you opened, it's fair game. You could open 5 Magician of Faiths and play all 5 of them, essentially, is what this is saying. So that's pretty cool. Also, all cards not included in your main deck from your pool of cards may be treated as the side deck, so there's essentially no limit on the side deck as well, which is also really cool. And then any extra deck monsters not in the side deck may be treated as the extra deck, which I assume then also means you don't have a limit on your extra deck either. Not that there are very many fusion cards in the game to begin with, but just in case for some reason you opened a crap ton of them, yeah, you won't have to worry about specific numbers and sizes. And finally, the most important part of all of this, the number one thing you've probably clicked this video to see. What are the rules for the Speed Duel constructed tournaments? If you guys didn't know, originally it wasn't announced that the North American WCQ would have Speed Duel constructed tournaments. It was only noted that overseas nationals would have it, but they did in fact add them. Thank you to anyone that emailed Konami and told them, hey, we have a community here that would really enjoy playing our own decks that we've made, because this is like the most fun part of the whole genre, I think, of Speed Duel so far, is making your own deck. So I'm really happy that they finally implemented it and gave us about a week's time to work with that. And that's fine. It's Speed Duels. It's a much smaller card pool, so we can definitely do this in a week. So going on to the rules, let's read together. Each duelist begins the game with 4,000 life. Standard as always. Each duelist begins the game with 4 cards in their hand, as always. Skill cards effects do not start the chain. Same old, same old. Each duelist has 3 main monster zones, 3 spell and trap zones, and 1 field zone. I feel like I could just start reading this off all day. The duelist going first does not draw on their opening turn. The hand limit size is, in fact, 6 cards. Each duelist may have an active field spell. Okay, here's the difference. To build your own constructed Speed Duel deck, you will need to follow these requirements before entering an event. Only cards with the Speed Duel logo can be used in your deck. Your deck includes the main deck and may include a side and or extra deck as well. You may not have more than 3 copies of any card included in your main, side, and extra deck combined. Your main deck must have a minimum of 20 cards and a maximum of 30 cards. Cards in the side deck and extra deck do not count towards these totals. In a constructed tournament, you may use a side deck consisting of 0 to 6 cards in addition to your main deck. Before it was 0 to 5, we were going off of the sealed rules. We didn't have any other rules to go off of. And it's interesting because in sealed it's still 5. In the sealed deck one, I should say. But in this, it's 0 to 6 now, and I cannot seriously stress enough how big that 6th slot is going to be moving forward if these are the official rules that will continue for constructed tournament play. I'm super excited to have the 6th spot in the side deck. Anyways, though, skill cards can be included in your side deck as well. If you choose not to use a skill card during the first duel of a match and you have skill cards in your side deck, you may use a skill from the side as part of your side deck process for games 2 and 3, or 3, I should say. If you choose to use a skill card during the first duel of the match, you may opt not to use a skill card for subsequent duels in the match. In a constructed tournament, you may use an extra deck consisting of 0 to 6 extra deck monsters. So in addition to the 0-5 that we had before, constructed lets you use 0 to 6. That's really interesting. As far as I've been told, Duel Links changed it in the extra deck from 0-5 to 0 to 6. I don't know if Duel Links has a side deck option or not. But I'm super for this. I think 6 makes more sense. It's, it's more of a half, like, so if you get 15 card side and extra in regular Yu-Gi-Oh! And 40 is your minimum and 20 is your minimum in speed, if you were to cut 15 in half, you'd get, 7 or 8 depending. So in the long run, if they extended the side and extra to 7, I could actually see that as well, but I think 6 right now is perfectly fine. I don't think the extra deck matters, obviously, because we don't have anything that's like extra deck centric except the Joey Wheeler deck. And you can fit all his cards in a 5-card extra deck anyway. But the 6-card side deck is super relevant, and it makes siding 2-ofs for specific relevant matches a hell of a lot easier, because now you could do 3 2-ofs if you wanted to do it, or 2 2-ofs and 2 1-ofs or whatever. I don't know. I'll go over it in more videos when I update my things. By the way, I don't know if Dueling Book has updated it, but as of recording this, they have not. So if you go into a speed duel tournament mode and you try to side 6 cards, it will not allow you to play, similar to the extra deck as well. Just a little known fact. I'm sure Dueling Book will eventually update this as well. But until then, that's what we're kind of stuck with. So I want to hear from you guys. Please leave in the comments down below what you think of the 0 to 6 versus what was the 0 to 5 for both side and extra. I, for one, am super for it. I'm sure most of you will be as well. I also want to know what you guys think of them adding constructed to the NAWCQ. I'm super pumped for that. I will be there along with the rest of the Yugi Bros in question. So I definitely can't wait to test this. I'm a huge fan of the constructed version. I don't think I'm going to play sealed. I might do one of the starter deck ones, because playing 3 different decks in the same match sounds very interesting to me. But I definitely will be on this one. I definitely could use some more foils for a lot of my decks out of the tournament packs, so I'll probably be entering this one a lot. So on that note, tell me what you guys think about all of this down below. Please remember to comment, rate, and holy crap. Like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, those. Please definitely tell me what you think. I definitely can't. Man, I'm going to make so many decks for this. So many decks, guys. So many decks. I might just throw in some random decks, too. Honestly. Like, maybe I'll play water in one of these and see how far I make it. And see if I can even win round 1. But anyways, as always, I'm Yugi Bros. Let me know. Just let me know. This is great. I love this. All right. I'm out. Peace.